Hi, everyone. Just wanted to start the show. Unfortunately, a little bit of a somber note, some terrible news this morning. An old friend of the channel, Xeviuss, has unfortunately passed. We didn't know, at least a lot of us didn't know, he'd been suffering from cancer for the last 2 years. I didn't know about it. I did hear, somewhat recently, his voice had sort of started to change. So he was kind of known for that amazing, deep voice he had, but as well as the incredible art, logos, and just being a wonderful friend. So yeah, it's really been tough news for those of us who, if you were in the chat, you remember back in the day, Xeviuss used to be a bit of a regular on this channel when I used to, do hangout streams and stuff like that. So yeah, terrible news. Lots of people sharing their thoughts. Their memories of him over on Twitter. So if you want to go check that out and share your own thoughts, I'm sure it'll be much appreciated to his family and friends. So yeah, terrible news. The last couple of months has been a really, really tough, moment for indie comics. A lot of people, unfortunately, getting sick and passing on. So yeah, rest in peace, Xeviuss. You were a really good friend, and I felt like there was a bit of an affinity between the both of us, me being in Melbourne and you in Canada, going through everything that we went through in COVID. So, yeah. Did I start talking before hitting live? I thought it said live. Anyway, rest in peace, Xeviuss. We'll be thinking of you, buddy. All right, let's start the show.
Are you ready? Are you ready? For the thousands in attendance and the millions watching around the world, ladies and gentlemen, let's get ready to rumble!
Phenomenal.
You can get it riding, you can get it sliding, you can feel it coming on about 4. A hard-earned thirst needs a big cold beer, and the best cold beer is Vic. Vic Bitter.
It's so hard to have a gay time on your own.
It could be that great chalk and biscuit coating.
So hard to have a gay time on your own.
It could be that smooth toffee ice cream in the center, or that whole delicious golden K-time taste.
Hard to have a gay time on your own.
I'm Danny, and I'm here to call out all you crack pack bitches. You think I don't see you there? I'm the OG of this shit. But you come after the king, you better come correct. I'm Danny, motherfucker. Who are you, crack pack? You smoke crack? You better watch your back.
It's live. Reaper
It's
just
like, it worked.
and the backing number coming in like you wouldn't believe.
Right.
We got back at number 7. Alex back at number 4. Rob G was 18. Gary G back at number 5. Maddie Fowler 24.
Oh, jeez.
80s Main Consumer 13. D-Rail Gaming 21. Here we go. Admiral Wackas Lol 25. Mark Penguin back at 14. He got the original art back at number 10. It was B-Rose. We haven't seen number 1 yet. American Discord back at number 31. Holy shit, says Phoenix 37. Darren Wagner 35. Harold the Hacker 17. Here we go. Oh damn, I thought I did that all quick and got 23. 28 bitches. Sorry, that was 88. Scary Man Badman Jenkins got 20. Got 28.
My man. Love the name.
Lloyd Birkins 33. This is going to go on. Frega Boom is number 40. It keeps going. Sumo Thori number 8. Sean Hollywood 39. Back at number 19 is Imagine If Someone. Crazy Man 499. 27. And I was quick AF. Dojo Coon number 39. Destroy to your baby. It's still going. 179. 58. Abrams 2 sets 61. Roger Ryder 54. Snake Dog 60. Nubid Needus 22. J Lee 53. Jamalkin 51. It's already over 50. Holy crap. Joe, what is happening? 43. This is going to be a whole show. Astro Zombie was 43. Osprey Shade 49. We got 65 by the telephone. One Wicked Evo number 6. Good
Nice.
man. Hicks Villain 68. 715. The cards are almost already gone. Storm D was 77. Here Others 45. It's going up. Runs 75. Jim Cox got 11. Shadowhawk Baxi was number 50. Got the Destroyer tier. What the F? Says Moment. I'm 59. Fox Mulder is 70. Back at 57. JT Cardo 41. Holy hell. Ant was 78. Here we go. Noah Up 73. Mobix 81. Hashtag crack back. It's a 5K. Already found. Checkpoint 69. Eric Guapo. He missed it. He got back at number 20. Owen was 66. Back at number 1.
No way.
Congratulations. Even number free campaigns. Sheldon back to 16. Daniel Russell 135. Deathmill Hero 156. This has been hands down great. Thank you very much for choosing to launch here. It's been a great honor to participate in this. But I'm going to do a final refresh here. We'll see what we got to. 189 backers, $18,000 raised. Wow.
Wow.
Oh, I remember it like it was yesterday, Joe.
Yeah, that was a blast from the past. Man, that was what it was funny because I streamed earlier today for about 6 hours, which is I don't know if I ever want to do that again.
I saw it. Well, it was in the middle of the night for me. I'm like, holy, what's going on here?
Yeah, it was, I was pretty wiped out, but we talked about that night, and I was just like, and I've said this before, and I'll just say it again. Besides my wedding and the birth of my child, that was probably the next best day of my life. Was that day? That launch was just amazing. I said it before. My wife came down, sat next to me in a chair right over here off screen. We toasted. It was an incredible night. So to relive that, that's always fun. That little collage you have, that's pretty awesome.
Watching me go into hyperdrive, I kind of had to fit it into a reasonable time. There's never been another show like it since. It was craziness. Testament to all the hard work. You sort of set the gold standard for creating the buzz pre-launch, and I don't think anyone has quite matched it. I call it the ground game. Just like in an election. It was pretty crazy. Happy birthday and happy closing day. I forgot it was your birthday. I saw that on
the 43 years old. Like I keep saying, like the older
end tonight.
I did, because I was like, can we get like the pity backers, right? Like, hey, it's my birthday, back to campaign, it's about to close. It's like, trying to be smart about it.
I feel yeah. I know what you're saying, and the campaign is actually very close. If I've got bring it up here, now don't freak out. It is in Australian dollars. That's still pretty impressive. Dollar reduce there, almost at $120,000 reduce. But I do believe you a paltry. What's that? $185 away.
So, I think about that. Yep. If I do math in my head, which is not the greatest, but just right around there. It's very close.
$100.
There you go. There you go. Yeah. It's super close. It's I never thought it would even get close to where it's at. One of the things I'm more proud of is the 1,280 backers on the campaign.
Absolutely.
Is just astounding to me. So like the entire experience has been just a dream come true and something way past my expectations and hopes of what I thought this campaign was going to do, being a first time creator, coming on the scene and putting the book out. And now that the book is getting out there, I'm getting reviews, people are reading it, getting the feedback has been great. I'm so excited about the project and moving forward with the story and where we're going to go. So no, it's been a hell of a journey, and here we are closing it where it all began. So it's very fitting.
I imagine that you and I have sort of similar in some ways. That when you were, a young kid, you probably saw a book like Spawn come out, and you were just completely blown away by it. Am I tracking? Is that correct? Because you're probably the biggest Spawn fan that I know.
Yeah, I was, Spawn was definitely a huge influence back in the day. Of course, if you follow me on my channel, I'm a big fan of artists, right? So all of the Image guys that started Image in 92, I was a huge fan of all their books. Spawn was cool because it was something different you hadn't really seen to that point. It was kind of a mix of Ghost Rider and some of these other books, Ghost Rider, Batman kind of put together. And Todd McFarlane, obviously, he was one of my first favorite artists as a kid. So yeah, I was a huge fan of that book, and Spawn has an influence on this book, indeed, as far as aesthetically and what I'm trying to do. But story wise, I try to steer very far from like the heaven versus hell stuff that Spawn does because he's already covered that,
Yeah. Well, I was thinking, did you dream back then when you were a kid of being a comic book artist?
Oh yeah, 100%. I never thought that I would be like doing. Well, no, I take that back. I probably at some point thought I'd be doing my own comic, but mainly back then, I really wanted to work for Image. Whether it's the Top Cow or work for Todd or Jim Lee or any of those. Like I wanted to be an Image artist when I was growing up, and that was what I worked for very hard throughout my teen years and tried to break into the industry when I was in my 20s. And I never thought that I would actually get there later in life, as of now.
That's why I think like there's a little bit of similarity there. I kind of gave up on it. I think being in Australia made me give up on it sooner because this was pre-internet, so I couldn't even envision a way that it could work without me moving to the States, and I didn't really think that was going to happen either. So I didn't actually go for it in my 20s or anything like that. But technology changes, opportunities change, and here we are. As older men, not old, but older, wiser. And we've made our own comic books, and both of them have done incredibly well. Huge number of backers and getting that amazing feedback that I've been seeing. I've been seeing a lot of people tweet about Reaper Destroyer. I did a segment on it myself, chatting as much as I could about it without hopefully not spoiling it.
No, you did a great job. And that's the thing too. Like, I think back then I wasn't ready to make a comic. I was just more drawing, and it took me a long time to get into learning how to make a comic, how to tell a story, and I had a lot of help along the way, talked to different writers and people that gave me advice, and it led me to the confidence of putting this book out when I thought I was there to actually do the writing. But that's one of the things, right? Like I knew people were going to like the art because it's just people have always really dug the art. Even when I was younger, when I wasn't even the skill I am now, people used to like it. So I was like, yeah, people are going to like it, but are they going to like the story? Are they going to read this and be like, man, this is junk? Like the art's good, but this is junk. So I was worried.
Which is unfortunately a lot of what you got from a lot of that older stuff.
Exactly. Well, right. And that's the thing too. Like the art of this book carries a 90s aesthetic, right? Because that's just my influences. But I really wanted to tell a story the way I tell it. And from not being an actual trained writer or something, I didn't read a ton of comics growing up. I just looked at the art. The way I write is a little bit more like a series, TV series, or a movie. Like that's kind of like my style of writing, not necessarily comic stuff. And I didn't know what people would think until they read it, and I was really kind of nervous to wait to see what people were going to say. And the feedback coming back from a lot of people has been really great, like digging the story, understanding it, and people that are actually really excited about it. So that's one of the biggest accomplishments that I'm extremely proud of, is that people actually enjoy the book. So weight off my shoulders with all of that.
We do understand that you are still in the process of fulfilling. So if you haven't gotten your Reaper Destroyer yet, don't fret. Fulfillment can take a long time, especially if it's not something you've done before, or have systems all set up.
That's.
I want to stand on tradition here. Unfortunately, we got to kind of a little bit got off track, but I just was so excited to chat Reaper Destroyer. I want to shout out Mark's Music Obsession, who was the first of the night. Always very important to shout him out. Now, I'm not just going to put this here. I'm going to put this here tonight because we are doing a rigged giveaway later on.
Nice.
I've got it locked and loaded. So if you do want to win something, and we're going to find out what it is soon, do type rigged in the chat. I see Alex VOB already getting into it. And then we're going to get to that later on in the show. So please do type rigged. I'll shout out quickly to those who came in first here. We got Jeremy Burtz. We got Mo Biggs, Hale the Golden Wrench, Shelby, whose beautiful art adorned the thumbnail, one of the covers on the book. One of his best pieces, I think. I really love that cover. It just captured everything you wanted in a story like this. What's up, Mark? Great to see. How the Law, Eric Weathers, aforementioned, Alex VRB. We got Citizen Ronan. He's here. Release the doves. That's coming later.
Nice.
Coming later.
Yeah.
I tried to get, I only got so many for the cottage, Heath Ward, welcome. Cosmic Studios. And Mo is wishing you a happy birthday as well.
Thank you.
Rick
Thank you.
Saylor, super backer, extraordinaire. We got Toe Hair in the house. K Manifesto is here. And I'll say hello to Ronan. I'll say hello to John Apple. And I'll say hello to Buzz. That's a good idea. Let's say hello to Edwin
Nice.
H. Always great to see. I saw Phil pop in there earlier as well. What did I rig this time? Well, we're going to rig a giveaway. That's how we do it.
Yes.
And, whether and it's not just going to be that giveaway. There'll also be a giveaway of backers. And if you see there, I mean, it's kind of like a lottery at this point, 1 in 1,200. But if you want to be on that giveaway, then you have to have backed the book. I'll be in there, so I probably should win, judging on what happened in the past.
That could be the case. That could be the case.
Mo says, no welcome to Toe Hair. I did welcome Toe Hair. I'm sure I did. He's typed in rig. So is Sheldon. So is Paulus Arts. All right. Do you want to let the people know what they're typing rigged in for?
Yes. So I wanted to give back. If you followed us earlier on the streams, we gave a bunch of stuff away as well. But I want to save this for this show. So this is a piece of original art. So this is an original print that I printed out on my printer. I basically did this one day because I wanted to see how well the printer printed, and I liked it. I was like, that's cool. I was like, what am I going to do with this? I didn't want to throw it away. So I ended up drawing a picture on this. So what you guys are going to hopefully win here, one of you guys, is this original piece of art right here that I drew on the back of this print. So you're going to get this print and this original piece of art from me. I will send it out to one of the winners. You do have to back the whole rig thing. Just let us know what the backer number was if you are the winner, and I will get it out to you guys. But I put a lot of work into this, and I think you guys are absolutely going to dig it. It's one of the characters from the book. If you haven't read the book, I'm not going to say it right now to spoil or anything, but this is one of my favorite characters going forward in the series. So you will get this if you type rigged in there and we do the drawing. So whenever that's going to be, I'm excited to give this away. Actually, I don't want to give it away. I like it.
If you watched our art share the other day, you'll recognize that because we actually showed that on the art share.
Yes.
Because you sent it out on a tweet, and I was like, "What's all this stuff here? This looks pretty damn cool." You're turning into quite the artist there, my friend.
Thank you.
People very excited to type rigged in the chat after seeing that. Great to see Arrogant in the house. Kayla loves that piece.
Yes.
Alex says you can just send it to him right now. He said he's back. It's fine.
I love it. I love it.
Who is that character, by the way?
This is a character named Apophis, who is one of the main characters in the book. You guys will get to know him a little bit more, especially in the next few issues as we dive into the relationship between him and Matt when it comes to the story. But this is a character that I actually created back in 2004. It was just a design, and I had no idea what I was going to do with him, and he made it into this version of the book. I was trying to figure out a design for the character, and like I do with a lot of stuff, I'm sure, Michael, you do the same thing. Go through and look at your old art. Some of the stuff you just sketch, throw away things, and you see something, you're like, man, that's actually pretty cool. I could, retool that and make it something.
That much, actually. And then when I look back at it, I'm like, oh.
But That's kind of what that was, and it spawned into something bigger. I mean, that character I started showing off early on in the project. Not people didn't really know who he was, but he started becoming a fan favorite. And the reason I wrote him in more to the story visually was because of that aspect. So he really became a bigger part of the story than he was meant to be. But I'm glad because it sent the story in a little bit slighter direction that I think is better for it.
Mo Biggs with a very old lore joke here.
Oh,
Apocalypse
yeah.
featured prominently in the original P-PEX Destroyer series.
Yep.
Anyone who doesn't get that, back
That's
in the
old
day,
school right there.
yeah, the logo for Reaper Destroyer was a little different, and it did kind of read a bit like P-PAC. With a,
Yeah, I
with
was
a
trying to
period.
go all, stylistic with it and everything, and the R's look like P's, like a P and a backwards P. So it became a joke uh, for P-PAC Destroyer, which was fun. Like back in when we first started doing the streaming, Ott and stuff, and me and Sean came around like in 2020 or so and started really being in the chats and on shows and stuff. There's a lot of fun lore from back then that has kind of died off, so to speak, but that is definitely one of them.
Yeah, good times. Definitely good times. We got Vanessa in the chat. What's up, Ghost of Nessa?
Hey.
We got Sumo Thori joining us here. Excellent to see. Yeah. Those are some, we've had some crazy days over the last friggin' however many years it's been. I can't even keep track anymore.
It's been a journey, and I feel like it's gone by really fast. From the first time that I remember kind of coming into the scene and getting to know all of you, the chat, your shows, to where we are now, I feel like it's just been a whirlwind, just has flown by. Yeah, there's been so much stuff that has happened, both good and bad, but I wouldn't change a thing for where we are right now with what we're doing. Michael, you're doing great with Elucent and building your channel and everything you're doing there. I'm extremely excited. This book is hitting people's hands now, and I've got a lot of plans for Superior Press, which is my company of expanding titles, bringing in other creative teams to put out more and more stories as we go throughout the next few years. So yeah, lots of big things on the way and on the horizon.
I was just noticing here, good old Indiegogo. Once you've sold something, you can't change the
I know.
at all.
Yep.
Yeah, the wraparound cover is done. It's right there.
Yep.
So,
I didn't know you could do that either, and I was like, I'll just throw up a stand-in picture, because that's all I had at the time with the pencils. Because Kyle at the time was doing the colors, and he hadn't finished it, and I was still I might have actually been waiting for inks at that time too. Waiting on other people when you have multiple people on a project. So I just put that up. So I've gotten a couple of people question like, well, where is your cover? I'm like, it's that one. It doesn't look like it, but trust me, you'll get it.
Yeah, this is how it is. I'm very happy to be on my own site at the moment. That's another thing that's changed over the years. Speaking of working with a lot of people, that's something that Rob Arnold pointed out when we were checking out the list of contributors to this book. So it looks like you went through quite a lot of different contributors in terms of the art on this. A lot of people helping with the inks and whatnot.
Yeah, it's I think the last time you and I were around, we were talking about just the pitfalls, the up and downs of doing a campaign, and when I first launched this book, I had a team set that I thought was solid to go through the entire book, and things happen, things change, so I was working with legendary inkers, Joe Weems and Matt BATT Banning from Top Cow fame. They both ended up dropping out of the project for whatever reason. I have my theories on why that was, but they ended up going out, and I brought in other people, but the cool thing was everybody that I brought in kept the professional feel that I was looking for with the book, and it didn't really suffer at all, so I was very lucky in that the people that came in to replace a lot of the guys came in, brought their A game, and absolutely knocked it out of the park, and the book just looks fantastic. Like I'm extremely happy with the entire thing, visually how it turned out.
Yeah, I really didn't notice it at all, actually. So, I mean, I'm sure maybe if I went in with a fine tooth comb, maybe I might be able to notice some differences. But
for sure, yeah.
No, I didn't. Yeah, it wasn't anything that jumped out at me at all.
One of the biggest changes we had to go through, like I was excited to get Kyle Ritter on the colors, and he was on the project for a little bit. Unfortunately, he was another one that had to dip. I ended up bringing in Dave Kemp, who he'd worked with Todd McFarlane. and DC and a few other people. And I actually originally brought him in to do the colors on the supplemental book, but I loved what he did so much that when Kyle dipped, I was like, hey, would you mind taking over the main book? And what was cool about me and Dave is he kind of got more of what I was looking for out of the book than Kyle did. Kyle did some great stuff, but he had his own idea of what he wanted to do, and I was letting him do that. Dave kind of got the feel of what the book was trying aesthetically to be, you know, and he brought a different aspect to the rest of that book. And I think he really nailed it, and we worked a little bit better than me and Kyle did, even though that's no shade to Kyle, because Kyle is fantastic. I still love his work, and he did a fantastic job with the pages he did do in the book.
I'm just looking through these pages here. Which were so did different people color different pages, or did they use
so
work?
The transition was actually pretty smooth. So Kyle did the first 3 pages of the book before he dipped out, and then Dave took over with page 4, although Kyle also did page 9. So he only did 4 pages of the book, and Dave did the rest of the book himself. But the transition from color to color, I thought was pretty seamless. You know, unless you really know, it's hard to catch, you know, where they change at, which is what I was looking for, you know. And it's, again, working with people that have been there, professionals, they know what they're doing. You know, it's just something I've always tried to work with professionals above anybody else, just because I want to keep that feel, you know. Like I always said, like I wanted to be the least experienced on the book. I wanted to bring in people around me that knew what they were doing, had been doing it for years, you know, that could actually help me along the way become a better artist and stuff. And especially working with inkers, you know, they help so much with, you know, growing my own style, growing my inking abilities is when I started taking over and doing inking as well. So it's been a huge learning experience to where we're jumping into issue 2 now, and got another team set in place. And I think this one is solid and ready to go. And I think it's going to be same kind of quality going forward. So,
well, someone asked about that in the chat. Hang on. Worked with professionals, and why here with I somewhat professional.
I would say yes.
In the house. I'm late to the party. What did I miss? We are Joe is on his birthday, back where he began on this channel, where he launched very infamously Reaper Destroyer. I can't actually. I don't want to. I don't want to miss Jeremy, who did the after party as well, and continued on late into the night. It was just an amazing night. If you weren't there, I feel bad for you. It was just such a great atmosphere. I'm very proud to have been part of. But we're back here tonight because it's closing down. Now, what does that mean? The campaign is going to just be gone? Will people be able to get? Have you got like a website? What's
what I'm planning? Yes, the campaign will be ending. However long it takes Indiegogo to shut everything down. I want to make sure we can get as many last minute backers as possible, especially if people are seeing this for the first time on the stream today, on stream tonight that we're doing right now. But what's going to happen is once it's done, I'm just doing that so we don't have to take new orders, because, you know, we're fulfilling right now. I want to make sure I have a solid number of what we're doing. But when that's all said and done, when we're done fulfilling, I will have like leftover books on my own website that I will be launching here, hopefully in the next couple months, get that up and rolling, where you can get, you know, comic books, prints, you know, all the t-shirts, all that good stuff. I'm going to be up and running on my own website. But as far as this campaign goes, yeah, this is it. So all the covers here are not being reprinted. The Dale Keown cover, the Shelby Robertson cover, my cover, the black and white stuff. This is one and done printing for the first print. So if you get anything later, catch up tiers or whatever on the second campaign, it's gonna be a brand new cover. It's gonna be the second printing, right? So I want to keep these books as collectible as possible, small print runs as we do on these Indigo or crowdfunding campaigns and everything. So you will be able to get some stuff on my website afterwards, or I guess if anybody puts it up on eBay. But as far as this site goes, no, I think it's run its course, and we're ready to kind of say goodbye to the campaign as we continue to fulfill.
This is such a badass moment in the book, by the way. I love this sequence. I thought it was really cool. It was a great build up to seeing him like this.
Thank you.
I tried not to spoil things, but I was pretty excited about this whole event. I just kind of like tried to jump over it and say, you know, this happens. But
this
yeah,
was
you really want to get this, especially if you are a fan of the kinds of comics that Joe's been talking about. And I'm very excited to hear that Joe is taking this story forward in a like a regular comic book format going
Yeah.
forward?
Yeah, no, that's thanks for bringing that up because I keep forgetting to mention that. I talked a little earlier about this. What I want to do for future backers, I want to make it cheaper for backers because I understand that $25 is a steep price to pay. Everybody seems to have latched onto that. I don't even know why we chose it. It's what it was, so that's why I went with it as well. A lot of people don't like paying $25 if you're not doing like these 40-page, 50-page plus books. The problem is that the bigger book you do, the longer it takes, the more expensive it is to make, depending on who you are hiring onto the book. I also found that the story that I'm telling is more tuned to the regular kind of comic format, a 20, 22, 24-page book, where I can actually really get into scenes and I can let stuff slowly burn, where there was a lot of scenes in this book that I'm not going to say I raced through, but there was a lot of stuff I'm glad that the book was 43 pages because there was a lot of stuff I needed to get in there to introduce you guys to so I could set some mystery up and everything going forward. But going forward, I want to kind of slow burn on a lot of things I touch on in issue 1. And I think the best way to do that is to give each issue a slower pace, shorter page book where we can really kind of hang on these scenes and get into stuff. And by the way, I'm going to charge less money to do it. So going forward, they're going to be 20 to 24 page books.
And they should come out quicker.
And that's the bigger thing too. Like they should come out a lot quicker. I remember when I got to page 26 or something, I was drawing one day and I thought to myself, man, if this was a standard book, I would be done by now instead of like only halfway through.
I used to think that all the time. I had 30 pages left to color. I was like, that's a whole book. That's actually more than a book. This is crazy.
1,000%. Yeah, 1,000%. So I was like, I'm not going to do this again. I didn't get in the business to make graphic novels. I'm a floppy guy. That's just where my heart is when it comes to comics, and that's the kind of story I want to tell. So they're going to be cheaper. They're going to be $15 going forward. Hopefully the books get out faster, and I know that might drop in funds as far as what I might bring in because I'm eliminating money out there. But I also want to. I'm so appreciative of the backers of this book, and I want to make it easier going forward for them. I know people hate waiting for books. I get that's part of the process, but I want to get books out faster than I did on this book and just do what I can to please the backers more. Plus, I don't want to be 50 years old only putting out 10 books. Like my idea is like I want to put out more and more books, that I can.
There's a pace to the 22-page floppy or however long it ends up being that we're all familiar with. I think as I was reading it, the whole time I was thinking, this story would work perfectly with that pace. For those, I talked about it briefly last week or whenever I did it, what reading this Reaper Destroyer, this first book, is like. It's like you're caught in the middle of a fight right at the start, and you're kind of like tumbling around, and all this stuff is happening, and it's pretty crazy, and you're like, it's all happening. But then, Joe really does a pretty amazing job of kind of slowing it down, but not slowing down the pace necessarily, just letting you catch your breath. And you do get to know a whole bunch of these different players. And I think you're pretty much by the end of it, I'm feeling like who's who, who's what they want, and where this story might be going. I can't say for sure, but you did a really bang up job on setting up a world that I think a lot of people are going to really want to see continue on in that faster, shorter format. I think it's going to work. I think it's going to work really well.
And I really appreciate that.
Sheldon says, Joe, sign mine, make it out to eBay. He says, just kidding. And Sumo likes that site. That's a really good moment in the book, Sumo. This is like a kind of a reveal moment. Whereas
and there's a lot
things hadn't quite happened.
And there's a lot to know about that too going forward. And I tried to set up a lot of mystery and questions going forward. I wanted you to get done reading the book with a lot of questions in your mind and being like, where are we going? Because I'm going to pay that off at some point. And that's a really awesome moment. This is one of my favorite moments in the book when the scythe comes out and there's a meaning behind that we'll get to. And it's going to be extremely fun, but I really appreciate you saying that. Because again, there's a lot of stuff that happened in this book and things I needed to kind of get in get into everybody's mind of what we're going, because this is a very expansive world. This is,
Yeah, I
I
feel that.
talked about world building. And there's stuff that we haven't even got into or touched on yet that we will get into as the story progresses, that I think people are going to really dig, that I can't wait to get to, but we got to build up to it,
I hear you. And these are probably this is probably my favorite sequence. I love these, the sirens, who were, everyone in the chat while I was talking about them, like, wood, still wood, Are you sure? There's a guy with his head ripped off right here.
Yeah, I was just gonna say that might show the
Right.
aftermath of what happens, But the cool thing about a lot of these characters, so going back to the '90s, right? We had really hot babes in books back in the '90s. That was what the bad girls and all that kind of craze. That's kind of gone away in modern books. I wanted to bring back the sexy feel of the villain females into the book. So there's a lot of kind of sexual seductive aspects of some of the villains in this book when it comes to the female characters. These especially because they're hot chicks, hot bodies and everything. Faces are so evil, they're blacked out, and they're people you don't really want to mess with, but they are, the sirens, they're kind of based on mythology, the sirens of mythology, but my own version of them where they can really seduce and bring in victims and stuff like that. So, and they're cool characters. They are characters that are bit characters, but when they do pop into the story, I think they have a major impact.
Yeah, and they just look so cool, on top of it. They really, as part of the story, it's something different in the, in context the whole story. So, and in a book like this, those moments can really help push the story out, and find new people such as yourself who was like, you just really love that art, this sort of stuff can get shared around and be like, what's that from? That looks dope. So I really thought they were a good addition to the story.
And what's cool about those characters, what's cool about those characters is the way they speak, and in actually writing and scripting a book, I really loved getting into the head of the characters and just getting into how characters talk and interact with each other. And the way that they speak, where they kind of speak in unison, finishing each other's sentences, was something I had back in the preview book in 2007, because they're characters I had in the original book. And so just really being able to speak for them was fun, to find that rhythm, to go back and forth of how they would talk. I'm sure you as a writer, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I actually found that I enjoyed that more than I thought I was going to when I was scripting the book.
No, I love that. I love playing around with people who were completely different, talk different, act different, and putting them together. So we've had some questions in the chat.
Yes.
One of them was, will you do any side books in this universe? Well, you already have a supplemental book. I haven't read the supplemental book. Do you want to let us know what this is about?
Yeah, so the supplemental book is it's got two backup stories. One written by me, which is this book. The Apophis book was written by me with art from Oliver Isabedra. It just kind of gives a little bit of a backstory on some of the characters in the book, that things that I would have loved to have fit in the first book, but just didn't have the room to. And the campaign did so good, it afforded me the luxury to go out and hire other people to really work on a supplemental book. So I did this story. It's just, like I said, it's a quick action story, kind of to set up some characters and set up motivations that you're going to see in the main book. Kayla, my co-host on Appreciating Comic Book Art Live, who's in the chat, wrote this story for me. No real nudity. I just had to throw it up here so that I couldn't get kicked by Indiegogo or anything. But art by Fabio Simeo.
Show it on YouTube.
Right, and you can show it on YouTube just so everyone knows. And nobody gets struck. But she wrote a story for me. It's a very sexy, mind-bending, in my opinion, story. And these are both 10-page backup stories, but for what they are, I think they do pack a punch. So if you guys haven't got the supplemental, definitely get it. This is probably the only supplemental I'm going to do, because going forward, I want to, like I said, we're going to do spin-offs. I've got other characters, some that are in this book that I want to spin off into other stories, some brand new characters that I just want to bring to light that we are going to put out in their own books. Again, like I said, regular floppy format, 20 to 24 pages going forward. And Kayla is already working on a project for me that hopefully we will launch later on in this year. So I want to launch Reaper Destroyer 2 sometime in the summer, and then Kayla's book sometime in the fall or towards the end of the year. But I want to try to get more stuff from Superior Press out. So the flagship book, Reaper Destroyer, but we're going to be putting stuff out as we go, to the point where I want to put out 3 to 4 books a year in the coming years, So keep an eye out. But we're going to expand this universe as quickly as we can and as quality as we can.
Is she the one in the main book? The chick is that?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't. I didn't want to talk
dives
about
into that,
at all,
right? It gives a
because
little bit more information to that. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. Very cool. There you go. All right. Yeah. That's very interesting. So there you go. That's that question answered. The other question is, and we talked a little bit about it, is book 2. What's the status?
Yes.
What's happening there?
I am just starting to get into drawing book 2.
Nice.
Fulfillment is a brand new thing to me. Everyone told me like how much it was going to go into it, and I didn't really know until I got into it. Right. So
Joe, that's what your wife does.
Right. Shout out to my wife and to my mom, who comes over during the day when I'm at work to help, pack up boxes and stuff. If it wasn't for those two, I don't even know if people would have got their books by now. So if you did get your book, it's probably because my mom specifically went through a list and started packing stuff up, and she's done a fantastic job of doing that. But
shout out Mrs. Sonntag.
Shout out to my mom. That's right. The thing that I found is it's really hard to fulfill and then to draw at the same time. So I'm trying to get into starting to sketch out pages of issue 2, but I really need to get past fulfillment to really dive into things, which is why I'm probably pushing the launch of issue 2 into the summer than in the spring, which I originally wanted. But the idea is to launch it this year and get that one done by next year, specifically. And if I can go faster, that is going to be the pace. I think I have a solid anchor to do the entire book, which will allow me to draw faster and a little bit looser, which I couldn't do on the first book because I've got a guy that can really, really ink his ass off and get things to where they need to be. So I'm trying different things. I'm trying different things to grow the product, to get things out faster. But yeah, book 2 should be better. It's 24 pages ish. I've already got the plot and everything already in my head and mapped out. So I just have to go in there and rough things out and start drawing. But I'm excited to expand the story and where we're going, because if you have read the book, I think we're going to go in a slightly different direction than you might anticipate based on the feel of this book. Like if you think this book is Spawn or The Darkness or whatever, I'm trying to tell a much different story than those books. And I think we're going to go in a direction that really leans into that, like this is very character driven, so that there's a dynamic between a character like Matthew Walker and Apophis. There's a relationship there that I need to flesh out more, and we're going to dive into that. There's a dynamic between Victor and the big bad Vanessa that needs to be hashed out. There's other characters that are going to be introduced into this book that haven't actually come in yet that need their chance to come in slowly and develop. So there's all these things that are going to happen. And I think, again, this is an ongoing story with a story arc, obviously, but it's something I'm planning to do for quite a while. And I want to slow burn it and make it as interesting and as intriguing and, a little bit twists and turns there as we go. So I'm very excited. It's going to be fun. I can't wait.
It's a hell of a start, dude. It's an absolute hell of a start when you consider, what you've got here, what's already in hand. People are loving it. So yeah, it's crazy. I want to also hang on. I think we've had a couple of people. Critical Reads says he backed it. Shout out to Critical Reads. Let me do a refresh here because we're getting very close to a 3 backers. Amazing. Oh my God. $45.
Oh, we are so close.
75,000. Wouldn't that?
That could be that could be one backer.
$118,000 reduce. So,
oh man, cool. My goal is to hit 75K just to get it before and a couple of people, Rick Saylor for one, right off the bat. I remember he told me, he's like, dude, this is going to do 70, 75. And I told him it was crazy when he first told me that. And so I know he's been pushing for that. And because certain people have been like, oh, it's going to be 1,000 backers, it's going to be this or that. As soon as we started getting there, because I didn't allow myself to really think that way, but as soon as we started getting close, I was like, all right, yeah, now we're in, it's in distance. Let's go for it. So yeah, $45. We can get 2 more backers and get this thing. Even tonight would be absolutely awesome. And if there's any lag time throughout the day, tomorrow or Monday, however long it takes to shut down, that would be really cool. But so far, it's just been an absolute blessing.
It's $45. It's what's that? That's like a book and a something.
Yeah, it'd be either 2 backers or one backer with a bigger tier. You know,
one backer with a bigger tier. What do we got down here? You can get the supplemental plus the main would do it.
Yep, that would do it right there. Yep.
You want to get those supplementals because
you want the supplemental.
yeah, the way Joe's written this story, like that character that I just asked about, is that her? You get you get to know her by how everyone reacts about her. And I do always like that, because you're like, oh, this must be someone a bit, special. But
Yeah.
you can't have everything in one book. And that looks like in that supplemental, you get a little bit of a sense of maybe who she was or where she's come from. I don't know. You have to get it to read it. So
I really set the story up for when you read it that you are being thrown into like the middle of something that's been happening for years, and so you are learning as Matt, the character, learns what's going on, and Matt doesn't
yes,
really have a lot of his memories. So you, as the reader, are going to find out things of this world as Matt kind of finds out things in the world. And so there are characters that have a history going all the way back to the beginning of time that are mentioned in this book, and you get a sense of this is something that there's a greater aspect of what's going on with the story that we are just being thrust into and finding out. So yeah, you get a sense of the character you and I were talking about, and some of the other characters, and just the way that people react. Like I love that. Like it was fun to tell, because I can present it as a mystery without just coming right out of the bat and just being like, oh yeah, blah 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 blah. Like because there's no fun in that. So setting that mystery up is a lot more fun than just putting it right out for everybody.
When you get your website set up, have it so that people can leave reviews, because I tell you, that is the best part of the whole thing, is hearing people's take, on the story and what they thought about it and different characters and stuff like that. It really is. It really is the kind of the fuel that will push you forward.
What's really cool
says here, he said, Reaper Destroyer is one of the best books he owns, period.
Thank you, brother. I really appreciate that.
Get the supplemental. It's awesome.
I have, Michael, you saying that is 100% correct. Like there have been some people that have told me the story, like retold the story to me after reading it, of what it meant to them or what they thought. And it's so cool hearing it from their perspective, because I only know it from my perspective with knowing everything that I'm doing. There's no real mystery there. It's just how I'm trying to tell it. But hearing people say like, oh, I really like this, and I feel like this is setting up this, and I love how blah, 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 this works in this character and this character. And it is such a confidence booster that you are doing something compelling that people are digging, and they're going, come back for issue 2. And I love telling stories, man. I did it with music. I love doing it here in comics. It's just one of my favorite things to do. I absolutely love it.
Couldn't agree more. Here's a quote. If you do another box, you can put this on the side. Reaper, this is Mo Biggs. Reaper Destroyer is the best of the 90s. Super dynamic art, great action, but without the unnecessary, annoying kid side character.
Yeah, 100.
If
there won't be any kid side characters
straight away.
Yeah. Yep.
Oh,
no, that's awesome, Mo. Thank you.
Look at this. One more to push it over. Back at number 1413. We don't get to say that very often in this corner. And that is pretty amazing. And also when we consider, we watched that video earlier, back at number 1, 2, 3, 10, 20, 50.
Yeah.
It's now 1413. That is crazy.
Insane.
That is crazy. All right. Let me, I'm going to give it you give it a moment.
Yes.
You don't want it to, sometimes it doesn't quite work. But let me set this up. We'll see how we go. Hopefully it'll work. All right. Looking for 75,000 US dollar bucks. Are we there? There it is. 75,030. Wow.
Thank you. That is awesome.
Congratulations, dude. That is crazy. Wow. And
wow.
15 backers away from 1,300.
That's crazy.
1,300.
That's insane. That is, I mean,
as well, a lot of these people might have bought multiple books. So
yeah,
it'd be interesting to count exactly how many books you've sold as well.
Yeah, I can obviously go through Indiegogo and count all those at some point and get an exact number with that. Yeah, no, it's wow. It's thank you everybody in the chat. The backers who have been in the chat, the people that started out with us here, 2 years ago when we did this. I've said this before that you guys have been so incredibly patient, so incredibly supportive of this project. I've been as transparent as I can be. and I haven't got one person that has been angry with me or upset for any reason. You guys have been actually more supportive when I've come out and been like, hey, I'm kind of down in the dumps, I lost, Kyle, blah, blah, blah. And people are like, no worry, we got you, or I'm like, hey, when my dad passed last year, that was a big thing, and people allowed me to take the time off I needed, to deal with that, so this has been such a journey, and just to experience it with you all here has been absolutely amazing. It just warms my heart. It gets me emotional when I think of it. And just, so just thank you. Thank you, everybody.
John
so
Apple
much.
giving you a golf clap.
Yes.
Well done. Well, no, they seriously, that is incredible. Kayla says, well deserved. The hardest working guy I know, other than my dad. There you go. Congratulations. Everyone's sending you congratulations.
I appreciate it.
It is amazing, but it's not the end. We're not finished yet. Remember, we have some giveaways here.
Yes, we do.
I'm gonna present a different screen here. A lot of you have been typing rigged in the chat. If you haven't yet, please do. So the deal is on this one, type rigged in the chat. Now you will have to have been a backer, correct? Because otherwise you won't be able to get them out.
If you win, just DM me on X and let me know your backer number. And that's all you need to do, because I want this to be for backers. We did a lot of giveaways that had to do with just people in the chat. You didn't have to back, and we were just doing that throughout the day. This is specifically for backers, and the next one we do is specifically for Destroyer tier backers, because that was a high dollar price, and we want to make sure that you guys are well compensated and thanked for all your hard-earned money that you gave to make this project what it is.
We're up to 30 already. Can we get to 35? Had a bunch of people just type in rigged. Now I see Critical Reads joining in. Tassus Jones, thank you, bro. I actually
definitely do it because you want this.
I'm rigged for Tassus Jones because he's over on Rumble and I won't actually work. So my rig is for Tacitus. So if I come up and I win, that's for Tacitus. And I see Sheldon is over on Rumble as well. He has typed in rigged.
Hail the Rumble.
Type it in.
I can type it in.
Yeah, you can type it in. Oh, you type it in.
Yeah, let me type it in.
Sheldon, and I'll be Tacitus.
Does it have to be all in caps or just?
We don't know. Try both. But
I'll try both.
Yes, but I don't know.
I'll do both.
So Tacitus is Clark. Confirmed. Joe and I both entered because this is rigged. What's up, Portia? Great to see you here.
Hey,
we're up to one more, and we'll do this.
One more. Let's go. And you want this, guys. So much so that I don't want to give this away because I like it very much. But you want this,
dude. It's probably one of my favorite pieces I've seen of yours.
I've got a. You want me to share a digital version with you so you can actually look at it on the better.
Yeah, let's do that.
Yeah, let me share this because I've got a scanned version.
It's pretty amazing. While you're doing that, Kayla for $4.99 for Bancroft for hosting an amazing closeout. Thank you so much, Kayla. Anything for our buddy here?
We said it early on the stream. You have done so much for the indie scene when it comes to these launches, these closeouts. That, I mean, I really hope that people understand. And I know you're a humble guy, so you will probably deny all this, but really understand like how much you mean to the entire community and giving a platform for all of us. You have a big channel and you are very humble with bringing people on and giving them the time that they need to do stuff. So shout out to you, man.
I appreciate
this has
really
been a pleasure just knowing you. Absolutely.
It's been amazing being part of it. So, I'm proud of that as well, playing my small role in it. Mo's already congratulating Tacitus for winning.
Here's a little bit more motivation for this piece. A little bit more motivation for you guys. If whoever wins this, because I love this piece so much, it's probably going to be colored, and I'm probably going to use it for maybe first 100 backer trading cards for the next campaign. Nice. So you will have the original art for that piece.
Of that, That is crazy. That's amazing. Yes, do sign up. Put it rigged in the chat. And look at this. Rick Saylor just gifted 10 memberships.
Wow.
Holy cow. Thank you very much, Rick. That's crazy. Kayla, Headless Bourgeoisie, Val Schnitzel, The Lovely Obscure, Timmy Mello, Sketch 51, Sarah Nascimento, William Perdomo, who was on yesterday, Paul Will. Nice. I don't know if you saw it. his kid didn't want to go to sleep.
I watched most of the show.
He
Yeah.
was so apologetic. I'm like, dude, we all understand. We
Yep,
have
I
kids,
get it.
you know, like that's the kids are gonna be kids. It's like really
Yep.
that book looks so good too.
Yeah, it does. It really does.
And
I gotta
Joe
get him on.
Jesse and RJ and no Mo. Mo's always in the middle of it, saying you ripper. Amazing. Thank you so much, Rick. That is incredibly generous.
That's awesome.
I have to play you something special for that.
I am a maverick. I am a savage. I am a legend. I am a madman. You never know what I'm going to do next. I am a mad lad.
Thank you, Rick. Amazing. Melanie is apparently rigged for Mo. All right.
Nice.
So we have to keep this in our memory here.
Okay.
Who's for her? Okay. Alex says Bancroft was the first YouTuber to discover the gatekept list function in his settings. We keep that under wraps. All right. We got 30. Oh, let's go for one more. Can we go? I mean, I thought it was going to be 35. One more.
Let's go. Let's
We
go.
got in the chat here. 53. That would be pretty amazing if we could get 40 out of 53. One more.
Just type in rig. That's all you got to do for some really fun art. And again, it's going to be original art for something that we will use for the campaign that you can say like, hey, I've got the original art for that. So do it.
I think we've stretched it as far as we could. I feel like everyone has probably done it, but I'll wait. 15. There we go. Marumi just did it. He's in. Legend. Excellent. All right. That means
up to 42. Up to 42 now.
Everybody.
Nice.
Wow. Wow. All right. Let's go.
All right.
Okay, let's do it. Let's do it. Good luck, everybody. This is to win that incredible piece. I hope I win. I mean, I hope you win. And the winner is
rigged.
Yes.
Who did?
Oh,
but I'm representing. Who is that representing over on Rumble?
Congratulations.
Yes. I'll
That
keep
is
this.
Actually,
this beautiful.
Sheldon Martin over on Rumble. Congratulations. You and
Awesome.
Sheldon is a big time. That is so perfect. That is so
It's not for me, guys. I was representing Sheldon
Oh
Martin.
my god.
So,
Sheldon, I hope you're back to Reaper Destroyer. You definitely should. Sheldon is actually an original art collector.
oh, I
That's
didn't know
crazy.
that. Nice.
Yeah, his name
Nice.
is like Sheldon. Like, that's crazy. It couldn't be more.
I know it looks bad, everybody. I know it looks bad, but it's not me. I'm not keeping it. It's going out to Sheldon's got it.
Oh,
I was actually thinking that too. I was like, what if it's me when it pops
the
up?
universe just gives. It gives, and I'm happy to take it. I mean, this is not the first. For some reason, I have a reputation out there. I don't know where it's came from, but I kind of rig all these things. And, as Mo points out, that time that I won a copy on my own giveaway. As Joe's obvious says, we need Joe to look into this giveaway.
Facts. Unbelievable. Sheldon, hit me up on X. Give me your info, and I'll be happy to send this out.
All right, I will get in touch with Sheldon, and we'll get that going. I hope he's still watching. He says, "Woo!" He's over on Rumble. I never win these things. Sheldon, shoot me a DM, and I'll get you hooked up. USA ID Craft. Okay, Solo says the wheel would never let this happen. I just
the wheel.
Keep looking at this. This is perfect. Let me take myself off.
Just there we go. I presented the gift. I won the gift. Who would have thought? Who would have thought?
Oh, that's perfect. That is perfect. All right, I'm crying now. That is amazing. We do have another giveaway. And then
We
how
do have
you
another
do a
giveaway.
random number generator.
Yeah, just random between 1 to what are we at 12. What's the backer number in that? 1283.
No. All right. Let me type that in. Oh, that was too much, Joe.
1287. 1287.
How did that happen?
I know, right? And so here's what we'll do with this. This is for the original art. Jason Bascom's original art. He did this. Rick Saylor commissioned him to do this piece for Reaper Destroyer. This beautifully drawn. If you guys know Jason, you know he's a fantastic artist. He has a style that is all his own that just jumps out at you. And we wanted to make sure that if you're getting the Destroyer tier, which is a $200 price tag, it's a lot of money. We wanted to give extra things to you guys. So Rick came up with the idea to raffle this off between the Destroyer tier backers, which is 98 of you guys. So what we're going to do a random number generator, and the one that's closest to that number is going to be the winner. And I'll let you know the backer number, and you don't even have to be in the chat to win this. I will get a hold of you, but we want to make sure that this is something you guys get. It's a beautiful piece of art. Rick did not want to part with it. I don't want to part with it now that it's in my possession, but this is what the Destroyer tier guys are going to get. So when we run that between 1 and 1287,
1287 now.
1287. Look at that.
That's like I think that's 10 backers tonight, which is amazing.
That's so cool. Thank you guys.
All right. Have I got? Where's my random? There it is. There it is. We'll pull this down a little bit so we can see that we're definitely not rigging anything. Obviously, why would you ever think that? So whoever at this number of backers is closest to someone who backed the Destroyer tier, you will win that incredible Bascom piece. All right. We don't need anyone to enter. It has all been done. All we need to do is hit the drum roll, generate a number. Good luck. I hope you win again, Joe.
Yes, me too.
479. Who is closest to
479? Let's
and the lucky winner is. Oh, look, it's my backer number. Oh,
all right. The closest to 479 would be 510. Let me see if I can say their name because a lot of people have aliases. I don't want to dox anybody. So,
is it anyone we know?
I don't know if I know that name. I'm just gonna keep the name because I don't know. I don't want to dox anybody if you're whatever. But backer 510 wins that piece. I'll get a hold of you. I will send you a message and we will send that piece out to you. So 510. Congratulations again. Thank you everybody that backed the Destroyer tier. Spent a lot of money on that. You guys did so much for this campaign. Just 98 of those. Think about that. 98 of those were sold.
How much were they?
$200 a piece.
Yeah, that's huge. That's huge. Like you were saying, like these campaigns truly make the whole thing kind of possible. You had to hire a lot of artists. You had to, go through a lot of that expenses. So especially the people who back big really do help a lot.
Yeah, it's comics are expensive to make, depending on who you're hiring. I mean, there's some people who can do everything themselves, and kudos to you for being able to be that talented to do that kind of stuff. But a lot of people, you have to hire on quality people to do the job you need done. And depending on how many pages are, that's expensive, But this campaign did so well, I was able to do that, plus do a supplemental, and I was able to bring on a lot of people onto this book to do contributions. And Rick, 510, that's going to be, I got to hit them up. But shout out to Rick who made that possible. That was his entire idea. That came from Rick. Like I said, he's one of the most generous people that I know.
Just know how generous he is.
Yes, 100%. So no, that's cool. I'm glad we were able to get that out. So thank you, everybody. Original piece going out to Sheldon Martin. That going out to 500 backer 510 on the Destroyer tier. So man, it's been a hell of a night, a hell of a day. Great closeout. It's again ending it where we started. It's so cool to be here.
I'm just happy I was able to play a part in this incredible. how often does someone who, you know, has no pedigree in the industry come along on a first book and sell basically 1,300, get 1,300 backers, raise all this money? It doesn't happen very often. So
Yeah,
that's
I'm
pretty
blessed.
amazing, Joe. You've done an incredible thing
Thank
here.
you.
So.
Thank you.
And I'm looking forward to more.
Thank you. Yeah, and I can't wait. Also, it's going to be a fun ride, guys. The story is going to be really good going forward. I can't wait to tell it.
Awesome, awesome. And as well, everyone, make sure you are subscribed to Joe's YouTube channel. He's
Please.
streaming all the time, talking about comics, talking about his own stuff, talking about whatever he's doing. So yeah, go subscribe over there at Joe M Sonntag.
Yes, definitely do. We're trying to grow that channel. It's slow going. YouTube keeps taking people away from me, adding people, so it's kind of frustrating. But if you haven't yet subscribed to my channel, please do. We talk a lot of comic book, a lot of comic book art, just fun stuff over there. So please head over there, hit the subscribe button.
And Joe will be pulling this down. So if you are watching this later and you do want to back it, go check it out. The link is in the description. It might still be up. If it isn't, if you missed out, just go follow Joe and stay tuned to wherever you can find him next. All right, everybody. Oh, I will link it. I will link it. Good idea, Darren.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, so this, I'm going to put in the close down request. So however long it takes is however long it takes. So get on it, because this could be available tomorrow. It could be done. I don't know. I've never really closed
Whenever
out
they
before,
get out
so.
of bed and go to their laptops. You know, we know over
Yes.
Indiegogo they like to work in their pajamas. They've said so. So
we
don't know.
There you go. Yeah.
Like how the law says, no dark mode, you're a psychopath. Mo Biggs points out, dark mode goes against everything Bancroft stands for. Exactly. There you go. Oh, and happy birthday, Joe. What a nice
Thank
birthday.
you.
Not only do you close it out, you make 75K, you win the rigged thing.
Right.
Yeah.
No, this has been a hell of a birthday, a hell of a closeout. I mean, thank you guys. 43. I keep saying, I keep getting older and my beard keeps getting darker. I like it. I'm aging in reverse. So appreciate you guys.
Happened. Why is mine going salt and pepper gray? I don't know what's, that's working. Actually, the Don is still live over on his draw stream, so I might send you guys over there. Have a fantastic night. I hope you all enjoy yourselves. Oh,
you do have a super. Yeah, I was gonna say you got a super chat.
Just saw that. $20. Thank you so much. Wow. Let me play a video for you, sir. That is amazing.
You little ripper!
Thank you. Thank you. Cheers to two great creators. Looking forward to more from both of you. Hal chat, if you somehow didn't hear about Reaper Destroyer, grab it. Do indeed. And thank you very much, Arrogant. That is awesome.
Thank you.
All right, guys. We're going to leave it there. Have a good night, and I'll see you later. Bye.
Peace.
Perth made an Australian video, and I wasn't even in it.
Emotional damage.